Welcome to the stage, Diamond, Lindsay Plantin.
Hello! This is so surreal. Thank you so much for having me. So I'm here today to talk to you about an oil that I love. And that's a little bit underrated, although Emily Wright has totally spoiled the surprise. It's a beautiful oil. It's called Helichrysum. So when I first heard that essential oils had all these properties like lemongrass was good for muscles and frankincense was good for emotional support, I thought, yeah, I'm sure that's true. It's probably about that. You know, we hug trees, we smell oils, and they may do these things. But what's actually going on inside our bodies? I wanted to know why and how they were actually doing that. My background is in human biology and sports science, and then before I became a maths and science teacher, I've always wanted to know how things work and why they do this. So it's been a core part of me for a very long time. It all seemed really airy-fairy, though, and kind of vague, especially the emotional side. I didn't quite understand how an essential oil could get you out of a dark hole and make you lift up and feel happy again. But they do. It turns out they do. I did a lot of research to be able to understand this, and they really, really do. It's not vague and airy-fairy at all. It's all chemistry. Our whole body, everything that goes on is chemistry, and I absolutely love that. So what I'd like to share with you today is a little bit about a mechanism of impact that's fairly well researched that happens with Helichrysum when we use Helichrysum. But before I do go into that, I do want to say that you do not need to know this to be able to share Helichrysum or recommend Helichrysum in any way. Please don't feel like, oh my goodness, I need to know how to explain biochemistry to be able to share Helichrysum. That's not the case. But hopefully, it will give you a little more confidence to be able to do that. So I discovered this when I was researching Helichrysum, among other oils, because it had worked wonders for me, and I wanted to know why. I wanted to know what it had done for me. So the point of what I'm sharing with you today is not so that you know it or even understand it, although I know some of you will, and I hope many of you will, or even that you remember it, but that you know with confidence that the science is there and it has got your back. The evidence is there. So go and do what you do. Go and do what we do best, to mend hearts, bodies, and minds. And that's what we're here to do. And the science is in the background, just helping us to go. Yay for science! So firstly, a little background about Helichrysum. So we source Helichrysum from Corsica and Albania, so very hot, beautiful countries. So after it's harvested, hand harvested, by the way, so there's a lot of labor, hand labor that goes into getting these beautiful flowers. So this is telling you, when you hear someone talking about, this is very labor intensive, this is very difficult work, do you know what they're doing? Justifying why it's so expensive. So this is what Helichrysum is, very labor intensive, and it actually takes a lot of Helichrysum to fill a bottle. So it's hand harvested, steam distilled, and after a few rounds of CPTG testing from our beautiful scientists in Ireland, we get that beautiful bottle of Helichrysum in our hands. And it takes 1.8 kilos of Helichrysum flowers to get 5 ml. That's a lot. That's almost 2 big bags of flour. When we think of 1.8 kilos, we think, yeah, that's quite a small number. Well, that's 2 big bags of flour in flowers. So it's a really, really light thing that needs a large quantity. So we can get an idea. Now, just to give you a little bit of context, it takes half a kilo of lavender flowers to give you 5 ml of lavender. So it's almost 4 times as much, as well as the labor-intensive part of it. So this gives us a little understanding about the higher cost of Helichrysum, but do not be misled by cost. Cost and value are two very different things, and there is no price on the value of health. There is no cost that is not worth our health. And so don't be held back by the cost of Helichrysum. Now, it's been used in herbal practices for a very, very long time. It used to be used in ancient Greek times, actually, so a very, very long time. And it's been highly valued and highly sought after for many, many benefits. Now, Helios, as I'm not sure actually if Emily shared this yesterday, but Helios means sun and Chrysos means gold. So we have these gorgeous golden flowers, these gorgeous golden fields growing in the sun and under the blue skies. Absolutely beautiful. So if we consider the doctrine of signatures, that bright light that they're growing in, that intensive heat, that rugged environment, poor soil quality, these are all properties that we can then think of, well, what's the impact that we can get from this? What benefit can we draw from this beautiful oil? So that could lead us to believe that maybe it might be helpful for excessive sun exposure or inflammation or joint and skin conditions. So these are some of the benefits that we can get from it. Or even let's go further, is actually its capacity to stave off decay, even when it's cut, and stay beautifully bright, could suggest its regeneration properties. So we can draw a lot from the plants and how they grow. It's often referred to as the everlasting or immortal flower, so it's no surprise that it's a key ingredient in our old Immortelle blend, which is now the vintage version of Salubel. And we absolutely love that blend. It's one of our heavy use blends in our house. We use it for first aid purposes actually on my children, diluted, and it's absolutely beautiful. So let's look at some of its uses. You can use it aromatically, topically, or internally. You can use it neat. It's extremely gentle on the skin, despite being very, very powerful. Most of the uses referred to in the pip, I'm not going to read these to you because I know you can read, but most of the uses referred to in the pip are about skincare. Now, Helichrysum does a heck of a lot more than care for our skin, so we are going to dive a little bit deeper, but most of those uses refer to skincare. So I wanted to share with you how I use it in my skincare routine. So I use yarrow pom serum every night. I squirt that in my hand. I add a drop of Helichrysum, a drop of frankincense, and maybe I'll add lavender or myrrh or another oil that I fancy, melaleuca maybe, and I'll rub that with my hands together. And I rub it all over my face, on my chest, or anywhere that I feel is needing to be nurtured. My goodness, if you've never done this before, please do it. It feels incredible. Your skin just glows and feels nurtured and amazing. So it's for all the reasons that are listed on here. That's why I do that. Now, you can use Helichrysum to soothe your skin after the sun, and it does feel fantastic for that. Or, until doTERRA figures out how to get the sun care cream to us, we can make our own. And that's what we do. We use Helichrysum, myrrh, lavender, and fractionated coconut oil in our recycled yarrow pom squirty bottle, yarrow pom serum squirty bottle, and that's our sun cream for me and my family. And I love it. I love that I'm not putting any junk on my children when I'm protecting them from the sun. It's fantastic. Now, I didn't buy Helichrysum for a really long time. As I mentioned, it's quite an expensive oil. I thought, I don't need that. I have frankincense, I have lavender, I have everything I need. It turns out I did need Helichrysum, so I saved my points and I got it. Save your points. Use the incredible benefits of LRP to get the benefits of some of these really expensive oils, and they're amazing. Also, the 200 PV offer where we get Salubel for free, one of the best in the entire year. So don't miss that one. It's fantastic to have that. And then you decant that one bottle into 4, maybe even 5, and dilute it. Lasts for the whole year. And then you're ready for the next year to get the free one again. So that's some of the uses. Now the benefits. Let's look at some of the benefits. Now, these are beautifully compliant, PIP. PIP described benefits. Don't they look good? Produces clear-looking complexion, helps to reduce blemishes. Now, what does this mean? Let's please look beyond the words in these PIP. Please look beyond what they're actually saying, particularly that second, or the third point rather. That's a really big one. When taken internally, it helps to promote a healthy metabolism. That's big in itself. Then it supports many body systems. How vague is that? Please read into that. It actually supports all body systems. And I would name them, but I'm going to assume that you know all of the body systems, so I don't need to name them. It really, really is such a beneficial oil. So please integrate this into your daily routine. Integrate this into something that is a part of your life, whether it's for your skin or for your other body systems. Please integrate it. It also has those rejuvenating properties. We're going to look a little bit deeper, though. Let's go a little bit deeper. Let's go into the chemistry. So here are the main chemical components in Helichrysum. Now, I'm really sorry to all the interpreters at this point, because this is not fun to translate. Je suis vraiment désolée. Lo siento un montón. But the esters is one of the key components in Helichrysum. It's calming, it's relaxing, it's balancing. It has a regulatory effect on all of the body systems as well. Regulatory effect. Now, what this is doing is it's helping our bodies to find homeostasis. That is the best place for us to be. Homeostasis. Everything is balanced, everything feels good, and that's what we want to have. Then we have the ketones. So ketones, and Emily mentioned some of these yesterday, including those diketones. I actually thought for a moment that Emily was going to steal my entire presentation. Thankfully, she left a few things to say. So ketones are good to stimulate cell regeneration. So they have some incredible properties, those ketones do. They promote the formation of tissue. They can liquefy mucus. Think of the application for a moment of those three things, of what it could do maybe with our breathing. What could that help with? So Helichrysum we maybe overlook for certain aspects in relation to breathing. Let's not overlook it anymore. It's a fantastic oil for that. Then we have sesquiterpenes. These are incredible compounds that are found in great abundance in all essential oils. And so they're soothing and calming to irritated skin. And some of the journal articles that I won't summarize, but will be on the screen later, say way more than just the fact that it's irritated skin. So it can really do a lot for our skin. Research has actually shown that sesquiterpenes can pass the blood-brain barrier and enter our brains. So think of all of these rejuvenating properties that Helichrysum has, working there, doing their stuff inside our brains. Think of what that can do. It's really, really beneficial. We could talk about these for ages and ages. But I want to take a closer look at the monoterpene, alpha-pinene, that we find in Helichrysum. So monoterpenes are present in almost all essential oils. They have powerful detoxing properties, so they help to inhibit the accumulation of toxins by helping with some of the elimination pathways through the kidneys and the liver. But what you can see here... Oh, perfect, someone's done it for me, thank you. What you can see here is a pathway associated with inflammation. Now, I created this diagram because hopefully this will highlight some of the actual mechanisms that are taking place within your cells when you're using these essential oils. So what you can see here is the nuclear factor kappa B, or NFKB, pathway. And so we have a binding factor called IKB, and so IKB is a protein that binds to NFKB, like this. It's like a massive hug. And if you've ever seen anyone, usually men, are about to have a fight, there's usually one friend who's going, no, don't do it. And he's holding them back from the fight, right? He's holding you back. For anyone in the Scottish in the room, hold me back. So this is what they do. They hold them back from the fight. This is what IKB does. It holds NFKB back, so it's not acting. Now, if IKB is no longer there, NFKB enters the nucleus and starts doing its job as a transcription factor. Now, what a transcription factor does is it tells the DNA to code for another protein. So it signals to start doing another job, which is a really important role. That has to happen in your bodies. So what happens when we have the presence of an immune stimulant? Now, an immune stimulant could be a bacteria, a virus, a stress, DNA damage. All of these things are an immune stimulant. Then IKB deteriorates and releases that NFKB. NFKB enters, and then we have the transcription of chemokines and cytokines and these inflammatory proteins. And that is really positive. It sounds like a bad thing, but it's a good thing if it is well regulated. So this is a key part of our immune system, but it has to be well regulated. If this becomes a cycle that goes round and round, that's a real problem. We're now producing too many of these inflammatory proteins, and that really becomes a problem. So it has to be short-lived and well regulated. Now, why do we care about this pathway? Well, actually, before I tell you about that, incorrect regulation has been linked to lots of terrible diseases, including very overactive immunity, and that's one of the key ones. But we don't want to, we want to be able to support this to not happen, and that's the good news. Alpha-pinene is able to inhibit the degradation of IKB. It's able to keep that friend hugging the fighter, okay? It's keeping that friend hugging. And so it stops that process repeating itself, even in the presence of an immune stimulant. So even if the DNA damage is still there, even if the stress is still present, it's still able to regulate that process. That is incredible. Absolutely incredible. Skipped one, sorry. So what does the research say about this? Now, these things have been known for a very long time. As I mentioned, Helichrysum has been used for many, many, many years. But science is finally catching up with what traditional populations have known for a really long time. And that's just beautiful. I love it when science can explain some of the things that we've known for a very long time. So you can see some of the journal articles that are on the screen. If you take time to find the science, you will be able to find it. If you look for it, you will be able to find it. It's back to seek and you shall find. You absolutely will be able to find the evidence you're looking for. Sometimes it's a few articles. Sometimes it's literally thousands. So really, really want to highlight that I'm so pleased that the research is finally catching up with what we can do with Helichrysum. Now, I do have a little bit of a vested interest with Helichrysum because it's done some incredible things for me. This was me in the winter of 2015. This was how I went to toddler groups, so music groups for my little girl. You can see my little girl on my lap. This is my mum who lives in France, so she can't do that all the time. So most of the time it would be my sisters. I have some wonderful sisters. And so we would go to tots groups and they would push me and then throw my daughter around for all the dancing while I watched. Sorry. So this was as a consequence of when I had my daughter and it damaged some of my pelvis ligaments. that held me together. Things don't go well after that. So I couldn't look after my children very well, much less run or dance, which is what I do. And so it was having a huge impact on our family. So this is when we finally gave in to having a wheelchair after being extremely stubborn and thinking, no, it will get better, it will get better. We finally got the wheelchair so we could go to the park and go for walks. Then in 2016 I went to Prague Convention in my wheelchair, and I've never wanted to be so invisible, but I was very grateful to be there. Nathan Bowles pushed me around the cobbled streets of Prague, and I was able to have a private chat with Dr. Hill, and this changed everything, completely changed everything. And less than a year later, this is me 3 days before our third child was born. This is what I do, I dance. We were able to have the third child that we've dreamt and prayed to be able to have, thanks to, actually I can't say that, can I? Thanks to some incredible people. Then I went further. Then in 2019, we went skiing, and I thought, this is something I never thought I'd be doing again. This is me about to go down a black run backwards, not on purpose, by the way. I was able to do it, and it was every time I went through another step, I thought, ooh, is this going to be okay? I just felt incredible, and I remember just thinking, oh, I'm skiing. This is amazing. And now I'm able to be me again. I'm able to be jumping into things. Because that's what I do. I jump into things. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that these oils brought me back. I'm now actually taking part in a ballroom dancing competition and training hard for it, and it's incredible. And every time I'm dancing, I think, oh my gosh, this is me, I'm dancing. And so I'm so grateful, and just so many people have had these experiences. I have the opportunity to share this, but there are so many more who have some incredible experiences around you. Now, some of you may want to know what I did. So here is what I did. I started using the roller blend. Oh, that's not going on. Here we go. I made this roller blend, and I would roll it on the area of pain every half hour to start off with, because that was how frequently it was a sharp pain. I would roll it on every half hour, and then I didn't need it so much. It was only every hour or so. And then I started forgetting to use it, and they were just getting better and better and better. And then I just totally lost my rollerball. And now all I do is I look after my body. I'm proactive. I take my LLV. I look after my gut. I do all my targeted supplements, because I know that will help me to thrive and continue to thrive. And I know that, you know, every time I look back on how far I've come, and looking back at these photos just blows me away. Just, you know, it feels like a blip. So the reason I wanted to share this with you is that if you ever feel hesitant, if you ever feel unsure about what to tell someone, what will they think about me? What are they going to say? What if it doesn't work? If you ever feel hesitant to go and share these oils, please remember me. Please remember the impact it's had on me. Thank you. I'm so grateful for Bex. Rebecca was the brave one who came and talked to me about oils. My gosh, am I grateful for her to share these oils with me. I'm so grateful that Dr. Hill took the time to come and have a chat with me, that the beautiful Jordan made that space so that I could speak to him, and just to have these rocks around me, like Daniel, who just always believes in me, always is encouraging me to do my best. That's just phenomenal. Even when things are tough, to still, you know, yes, you've got this. So I'm so grateful. And I really wanted to leave this last thing with you. It's one of my favorite quotes. When it rains, look for rainbows. When it's dark, look for stars. You can be the rainbows. You can be the stars for the people who have lost hope. You can be that little glimmer that they can be themselves again, that they can do what they would like to do again. So please remember that. Go and do your thing. Bring hope and healing to those who really need it and who want it. They will be grateful to you forever. And don't hold back with that. Thank you for listening to me today, and I hope that you will take away. Thank you. Thank you so much.